CSS and Sass have lots of differences. Sass is a CSS extension which has lots of extra features. CSS is used to style HTML elements and Sass is also used to style HTML elements. But Sass shines with some extra features over CSS. First difference is how they both define variables. CSS variables can be declared using double hyphens before a variable name and can be used by writing variable names inside var keyword. To define global variables, you have to write them inside root and then you can use these variables in any file. In Sass, variable names are declared using $sign and they can be used by writing $sign before a variable name. Variables declared at top level have global scope, means these global variables can be used in any other Sass files, but variables declared inside blocks have local scope and they can be only used inside that particular block. Next difference is nesting. Nesting is when you want to style inner HTML elements. In CSS, inner HTML tags can be styled by writing these HTML tags with class name. Suppose we want to style all divs inside app class name. When we write div with app, it will style all divs. In Sass, if we want to style p tags inside div having app class name, then first we have to write parent class name. Then inside curly braces you can write p tag. Finally you can write CSS styles and they will be applied to all paragraphs. In the same way we can style inner divs. Again we have to write nested styles for div inside curly braces. One thing to note here is that I have used SCSS extension. SCSS and Sass are same. The only difference is that in SCSS files we have to use curly braces just like CSS. In Sass extension files, styles are used using indentation. Actually most of the times SCSS extension is used. Next difference is how CSS and Sass import files. Here is a CSS file having styles of button. If we want to import all styles of different CSS file into current CSS file, then we have to use import rule. Now as the CSS file is imported, button styles are applied. Now we have button styles in Sass file. To import these buttons into app Sass file, we can use same import rule like CSS and provide file name in URL. So it has styled the button. We can actually use short form and provide only file name. It will still work. But there are some issues with import rule. Import makes everything in file globally accessible. Because of this there can be naming collisions. A style sheet is executed every time it's imported. This increases compilation time and creates bloated output. To remove shortcomings of import rule, use rule was introduced. In Sass it's always advised to apply use rule. We can apply use rule just like import rule of Sass. Next difference is Mixins. Sass has a feature of Mixins that helps you define CSS declarations. CSS currently do not support Mixins. To understand what a Mixin really is, I have created a primary class name for button in CSS. Then I created a secondary class name. After that a success class name. Now in HTML I can easily change button class names. For example, here I can easily change from primary to secondary class name and also success class name. In these classes CSS properties are repeated like background, box shadow and color. CSS properties are present in every class. Repeating too many variables and properties makes our code unmanageable. In programming it is advised to use dry approach. That means do not repeat yourself and reduce repetition of information that is about to change. To fix this, Sass has a very good feature called Mixin. Mixins can be defined just like JavaScript functions. Then we will pass a variable that will change with CSS properties. As background can change, we have provided color variable to it. We can actually name this variable anything we want. Color of box shadow can also change. Now to declare primary theme of button, include rule will be used. With the name of Mixin we want to include in this primary class, then we will provide a value to variable of Mixin. So here it will add this particular color in all CSS properties of Mixin wherever this variable is used. So it has added primary theme to button. In the same way I have added secondary theme. Finally I have defined a success class name. So I can also provide success class name in HTML. Next difference is in the feature of inheritance. CSS by default do not have extend or inheritance feature. Inheritance is when one selector adds CSS properties of some other selector. Here for example, if font styles has inherited or extended app class, that means it has added all CSS properties of app class selector. A simple temporary solution in CSS to extend a class is to use it with some another class under class name attribute. Now if we talk about Sass, it has proper extend feature. Take same example, we have two class selectors app and font styles. If we want to extend or inherit app inside font styles, we can use extend rule and provide name of class. Here in HTML we need to use only single class name font styles, which also has a styles of app class with the help of extend feature. Final difference is operators. In CSS, to use math operators to perform calculations, we will use cals function. We can use them with CSS units. For example, here I have used plus operator to add pixel values to set height. This is same as setting height to 55 pixels. We can also use some other math operators, and also we can use other types of CSS units. There are lots of ways in which calculations can be performed using cals function. Here I have set width to 100% and then subtracted 150 pixels from it. In Sass, it's very easy to use math operators. Here plus operator is used to add values and we don't even need to use cals function. Multiplication operator can also be used. Like here 2 into 100 pixels will be equals to 200 pixels. To perform division, we have to use div function of math Sass module. For that, first math module of Sass is imported using use rule. Then we can perform division of two values by separating them with comma. Even after that, we can do more calculations if we want to. Modulus operator is also available in Sass. It actually returns the remainder when first value is divided by second. Remainder will be 100 in this calculation, so width will be set to 100 pixels. Detailed explanation of all these concepts can be learned on official Sass documentation.